We are back, ladies and gents, and we're ready to get rocking in our second map. It is Train. A couple of eyebrows were raised regarding Spirit's choices. It's been a strange one, but Tom, it's been strange for different reasons. The first time we cast them, it was their T side, I believe, that was pretty rough, and then the second time their T side was fixed, but the CT side had gaps. We spoke to Sundai Young. I say we, it was mainly the desk that spoke to him, and he said, yeah, we made some mistakes. We kind of derped a little bit, but we should be able to fix it. So now I'm really curious if they have fully fixed it, and this is the more complete Train that we're going to see from Spirit.
Honestly, I don't know. Like that's the thing. It's like they managed to seemingly fix some of the major issues they had the first time they played it, and then they had other worse issues, I would say, more catastrophic issues. And the thing that they really struggled with the first time they played it was coming up against like an AWPer in the form of Dennis that they just didn't seem to be able to deal with. And then the second time they played it, they did absolutely fine with that. Like they were just running into sites, blowing people's heads off as they go. So I'll be interested to see if we can get Shiro popping off with the AWP, maybe a secondary coming up. We saw a couple of different players attempting that at least, whether or not it would be as easy. Because let's be real, in that second match that they played, I don't think necessarily that they were like a dominant force, like their T sides were anything particularly impressive. I think they just did very, very well versus Illuminar when it came to the entries. And we spoke about Snacks, in fact, being really flat on that CT side of Train, like missing some basic shots that if I put Shiro in that position, I would gamble on him hitting those shots 9 times out of 10. So I don't think it should be as easy, especially on their T side. And that's likely where we're going to be seeing Spirit starting as well, because Gambit do have the choice. So for Gambit, I want to see them get off to a strong start. I think winning the pistol, getting the AWP in as early as possible, make sure they have all that utility in their hands. And then this should be a relatively competitive game, because that's the thing that worries me with this series in general, is we speak about the maps that are weaknesses. Now, obviously, we've got Vertigo that's instantly banned by Spirit. You're never going to see that. It just doesn't come into the pool. But one of the other shakier maps from them has been Nuke, and that's banned out by Gambit. So in terms of map pool, they've actually almost got their most favored map pool. And sure, they've had some hiccups here and there on Train and maybe Inferno, but the series could be over before we even get to Inferno, because it's the very last map, and Overpass is not a bad one for them either. So it's a scary time for Gambit. Losing that first map was one that I said I think they needed to win. Now they've got to prove they can take another map instead.
You can see the players deep in thought, pretty pensive. Unfortunately, we are waiting for Inters to get himself ready. It seems like there's been some PC issues, perhaps. Whenever players are stood up and walking around, it's never the ideal situation. So Train may take a little bit longer to get into. Seems like they're ready now. That reassuring pat on the shoulder. Seems to me, I'm just judging from body language here. He seems like he might be a little bit sick. I'm hoping that's not the case, but the pat on the shoulder, taking a sip of water, he doesn't look comfortable, does he? I'm hoping that's not the case.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. It could just be nerves. Like, I don't want to like just put something on Tim. I know that a lot of people have been ill recently, but it's one of those situations, obviously, for Gambit where this is a big tournament to win. They've had like opportunities in like smaller cups, I would say, like stuff like the 9-5 to maybe get out some of the jitters. But winning an open a lot of the time, although it may not be ranked as like, oh, you've won yourself a major or something like that, it's normally the starting block. Like you look at some of the teams, even like Vitality or Ent, going back historically, they have started their rise into the top scene from events like Open and Hobbit. Well, he's been there before. He's been on the rise, and he's looking to kick this one off with a bang. And the bang is 2 heads from the Spirit side.
2 big headshots that could have drawn away some fire from A, and that's where the bomb is actually starting to make moves. 2 players, Ivy, and Chopper by himself around Pop Dog. Now, can the rest of the troops do enough? Can Magix have a big performance here? You did touch on it yourself, and they did on the desk as well, but he wasn't really called upon to have big performances. He's typically one of those more clutch players. Well, if everyone's just getting battered and bruised by Mia, Magix doesn't really need to shine too brightly. Maybe this is the kind of round where he can make it happen. He had the right idea, just slightly wrong angle. Does tag Axile with the P250, but Axile returns fire, and he hits the head, flicks it clean off, leaving Chopper 1 on 4. And Hobbit will claim a 3rd. Excellent hold by Hobbit, and Gambit into winning ways.
Yeah, funnily enough, I think that's one of the things we need to look at as well, is that you've got these young players who a lot of the time are more likely to crumble under the pressure. I think that's why you get the real bonus of having someone like Hobbit now being brought into this roster and almost converting them from the youngsters into like the fully grown Gambit team, is that when you need someone to step up, when you need someone to have that experience, that calm within the storm, he's been at the very top. He's won a major. There's not many players in Counter-Strike that can say that. And while he's looking to try and start this one off just as well, Shiro alongside him, known for his AWPing, but he can do it with the rifle as well.
Oh yes, give this man any weapon, and I have full confidence that he will deliver. Just a blip on the radar a couple of days ago, it was mainly Inferno as well, which will be playing no part in this best of 5, unless we go the full distance, of course. But could very well be a case that it is sealed up and delivered before that point. Gambit, though, 2-0. SG picked up Friday's balance. Again, it is a weapon that he can run with. Didn't have enough for the AWP, so at least he still has that scoped element to his play. And I do feel like Train is the kind of map where the SG can be so very deadly. Mia playing with fire, may get burned, but on the wrong side of main, tossed to the left, actually extinguished as you could hear in the distance as the smoke was put down there. Bit of a stalemate, but a lot of utility has been expended from the teams. They only have 2 smokes, molly, and 2 flashes. They have to be very precise now when they approach the site.
Yeah, a lot of the success we saw in their last series versus Illuminar was off burst, aggressive plays. We can definitely work when you don't have the AWP. Gotta be careful though. Axile going fishing for some Spirit players. He's got a little bit of support, but it's only going to be the trade. He's got to be careful, but he finds the kill on Tamir as well. Looking to potentially upgrade the rifle, but realizes it's not worth the risk. Even still, though, has taken a pretty nasty tag, and now is just looking to survive.
Exile up on the ladders, different angle. 30 seconds, gets finished off, but does land a dink. And that's actually not a bad trade considering how low he was. Hobbit now makes the most of his positioning. He's waiting, trying to line up more players. AK traded out from the MP9. Elsewhere, though, Magix went on to Inters. 18 seconds. Hobbit spins around. He is here. He is kicking, and he is going to try and bring Gambit back into this best of 5. 6 kills already, tons of impact, and still could clutch this out. But Magix is against them. AK in hand, Shiro will be taking the first point of action, shoots through the train. Magix misses his chance and could be losing his life. He now knows where both players are, but Shiro connects the dots, and Gambit connect into a third.
Yeah, strong start for them, and again, they're going to be able to take a lot of map control away from Spirit, and I think that's going to be relatively important. I'm expecting there to be rounds where Spirit are just going to try and brute force their way out. They're going to need Axile to perform to make sure that doesn't happen. He's playing a similar role to what we saw from Jacob, who was hugely successful in that first match. I think putting up 10 rounds for his team alongside Dennis. And as we've said before, if we can get the 3 stars that we've currently got popping off going for Gambit, they can win this series. It's not out of the question. The problem is there has been no match we've witnessed so far where all 3 of them have been performing to a very high standard. What? All right. That doesn't make much sense, but we'll take it. And Navani actually wins that duel as well. 2 openers coming up for Gambit that don't necessarily make a lot of sense. This is an investment as well. This is money put into this round. That wasn't like a player that was unarmored just running into the gauntlet. Like, they invested here. And while the damage that's been done onto some of the Gambit players do leave a small opportunity, but hey, this is a very strong start for Gambit.
How tilting must that be? You got your AKs, you're pushing out the... Oh, I've just been headshot and killed by a P250. Brilliant. Just $300, absolutely caved my head in, and I'm on the sideline again. And Mia, who did land, I want to say it was like 24 kills on Dust 2. He had just unreal ADR and rating. He's 004. He has been completely shut down to start things off. Now, obviously, early days. I doubt that he stays at a standing of that stature for too long. But cooling the jets of Spirit is definitely a way where Gambit can take a stranglehold over Train. 30 seconds, or just underneath. Spirit do have 2 players, an important hold. We saw and get a lot of success even when completely outmanned and gunned. The sound cues of the Molotov will alert Nafani to their presence down in ramp. He is joined by another player, but the rotation is very slow from the rest of the teammates. Do they check this angle? Nafani can hear a lot of footsteps around him, can deny the bomb plant, does just that. And although Magic spots him, it's too little, too late. Gambit up to 4.
And they've quelled that early storm as well from Team Spirit. Chances are there's not going to be a whole lot of investment going into this round. Maybe just a few pistols, a MAC-10 or something like that to try and do some extra damage. But we shouldn't be seeing them fully invest into this one. Now, that was one of the main flaws when it came to Gambit with the short CT side we saw from them, is that one of these pistol rounds just completely threw them off balance. And sure, they've made some bonus cash here, but they don't want to throw it all away in a round like this. Magix as well is someone that most of the time when we highlight him, it's for age. Like, that's the main purpose. Oh, yeah, he's 17 years old. I know Vu loves doing that. This is his main thing as an analyst, is just highlighting Magix's age. But more importantly, I think he's probably their best player on this map, especially on the T side. Like, you look at Mir as someone that we normally highlight. I disbalance with the AWP, but I think he's so vital in this map at bringing them through rounds that if he plays poorly here, I do think they're in a bit of trouble. So definitely keep him in mind as a focal point. Axile is always going to be one of the players that we're watching, and especially on this map as well. He is a lot of the time going to be the aggressor, trying to take map control away from them, make their setups more awkward. And considering how Team Spirit won on their T side last time, he is going to be the main man to make sure they're not able to gain too much space.
That play incoming. Tech 9 bullets do connect onto Axile, who got one just beforehand. Inter's now using the SG against the oncoming Ts. And Nafani holds his position at the back of the site, funneling the Ts into more awkward positions. There is a headshot, but does minimal damage onto Nafani. Idis Balance may have hit him through the wall with a deagle. Sundai Young. SG now put down range again. 20 seconds to go. Another headshot from Sundai Young. He picked off a great clutch yesterday. He's going to have to pick up another one here. Shiro nullifying Idis Balance and then just charges straight at Sundai Young with his sidearm. Gambit get across the line to 5. The first time, though, it seems there may be mortal after all. They were made to bleed in the process.
Yeah, that was shaky. Like, the fact that it comes down to a 1v2 and Shiro having to just run and gun to take down the final man, that's not something you want in a round like this. That's meant to be your money maker, not the one causing you cost. And now for Team Spirit, they have a combo breaker. They have the investment back into the AWP. Magic's going to go back to Ivy, which is his normal front. We saw him find an awful lot of kills. I think both matches we witnessed him play. It's actually going to be Idis Balance, though. Inter's caught with a cheeky shoulder peek, and Idis Balance, if he's given shots like that, he'll take them all day long.
Gambit instantly react with a bit of main control. Mia, only 23 ADR, still yet to get off the mark. Unlikely to do so anytime soon as he does get smoked off. However, another smoke has been deployed right side of back Ivy, and this could afford the T's a chance to make a move in. However, the smoke is now dwindled, and Axile, joined by Nafani, will meet their opposition. It's backfired for 1. Axile with 2, looking to try and spray in for 3. It's the Glock of all weapons that comes to the good and the rescue of Spirit. But that life raft may very well be pulled away from them. And Shiro behind the wheel with his AWP. Oh, that shot is beautiful onto Mia. No scope here. He actually aimed into the whites of Mia's eyes and pulled the trigger. Wanted to make it a personal execution. Shiro with another. Up to 10 kills already, and Hobbit from the side. Shiro doing such a magnificent job on the site. And straight away, Spirit into a tactical timeout. Just for a bit of a detox. They would have felt that had to be their round.
Yeah, you're witnessing the future of CIS Counter-Strike in this match at the moment. Axile, let's not forget the double that he just managed to achieve, and if it wasn't for a Glock shot, well, he probably would have got away with 3 there, and then Shiro just absolutely styling on them. This is the win condition. This is what we speak about with this team, and Shiro currently 10-0. That's kind of a crazy stat as well. The amount of times that Shiro's gone negative is just once, and... Oh, sorry, Mir. And to consider how he actually plays Dust 2 as well, he's very aggressive around that map, so that's probably why you don't really want to face them on it, but nonetheless, we're over to Train, and this is back to what we saw previously. As I said, like, I wasn't particularly impressed with the way that Illuminar actually held when it came to their CT side. I thought Gambit would do better, and thus far, they have done.
Hobbit dodging bullets, much like Neo tosses the incendiary down. Smoke has also been put in to just choke off any aggression, but Sundai Young still connects the headshot into Shiro. It took something special to finally take down the god himself, but they've done just that. And now looking to wield the spear towards the site. Magic's up close with a Tech 9. It's 3 kills in quick succession. 2 headshots, instantly dispatching the oncoming CTs. And although Hobbit tries to hold on for dear life, it's been taken away from him. It took something special from Spirit. Is it something that they can feasibly come back to time and time again? I'm not so sure, but it gets them into the match finally, Tom.
Okay, it's time to nerf the Tech 9 again. Like, I liked it for a little bit, but can we put it back to being bad again? Like, that's ridiculous. Just spamming, running, gunning, and finding 3 kills, and Magic's, again, seems to be their savior when it comes to Train. That's the one place I think they've really looked like sort of sketchy, though, is their anti-eco rounds versus the pistols. It was the same on Dust 2. They lost a round they never should have lost. It's happened again. Gambit have got to be kicking themselves because they started it off so well, but you have to bear in mind, we still look at this map where if you're getting like 6-7 rounds on the T side, you're going to be happy with that. They lose this one, and Team Spirit have almost got to 3 for a freebie.
Plays havoc with their finances too. UMP on Inters, Deagle on Nafani. Collectively, only $300 in savings. So make no mistake, they lose this, they are into an eco, unless their economy is so bad that they have to force in. Which would be great news for Spirit. As you said, a terrible start. But it is a map where you expect the CTs to be triumphant more often than not, so no need to panic just yet. Mia will be up close with Inters, who is actually looking in towards the corner, maybe anticipating a flashbang to come in from a teammate. Play anti-flash here. Also has Izal up on the Train, and they get both. Oh, that's the bomb as well. The bomb gets dropped, and as Inters even made any noise, it doesn't matter. He still goes in with 2. This trade could not have gone better, but Spirit now start to fight back. It's the AWP ringing out twice from Ida Spans before he gets silenced by it. Nafani gets the drop on Chopper. And just after Spirit look like they're picking up some steam, they get vented off.
The way that they're playing looks almost like a direct counter to what we saw, the struggles of Illuminar. Like, we saw so many quick A-main takes. I mentioned like one of the rounds where you saw Spirit almost be able to get past Electric Box and almost to the site without any contention whatsoever. Instead, they've put Axel there, they've put extra support alongside him, and they're just not allowing any space for Team Spirit. And at the moment, it doesn't seem like they have a fallback plan. The one round they've won was a B-site rush with a triple kill coming out from Magic with a Tech 9. Can you repeat that? As you said at the time, probably not. And now things are looking bleak for Team Spirit. Train is their choice, and we've said it multiple times this tournament. It seems like they might need to get a little bit better at choosing their maps, because this is not looking comfortable at all.
Mia's starting to activate, though. That will be a good sign. Could be fleeting, though. Minute left. Some free room to maneuver outside. Catches Nafani out in heaven. No idea where the last CTs are hiding on the site. Now he will be made aware firsthand as a bullet passes the side of his head. Inters now changes his angle, shutting down Magic's. Oh, Ida Spans has missed a sitter. That's a shot he's got to connect. It would have given him a glimmer of hope into the round. He could still get a post plant for his troubles. Doesn't know if this play is on B. Now realizes is a distinct lack of presence, so he can't go in for a post plant. Can smoke off one of his angles. This isn't completely over just yet. Does land the shot on Hobbit. Unfortunate not to reap the kill. But I go back to that first shot he missed on Pop Dog there, Tom. Like, that's a shot you expect him to land every day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. I think, obviously, you still have to look at the rest of the round and just go, you shouldn't really have to be in that situation anyway. Like, a lot of the early duels that are coming in at the moment are, again, going back to things that the desk said, when it comes to flashbang assists, there don't seem to be many of them. And unfortunately, that's why they're losing a lot of these duels at the moment. Like, they're just trying to peek dry into players that's not really going to work against. You're not playing up against maybe an Illuminar or some of the other teams we've seen in this tournament. You are playing against players who can match you, at least in individual skill. And so far, like, Mir has just been getting battered. We've not really seen anything from the majority of the roster. In fact, as we sort of mentioned, like, Magix is the only one that's really done anything so far, except for maybe a Deagle or two coming out of Some Die Young. And this is the problem I have with this team, like, especially on the T side. If some of their entry fraggers go missing, if they get countered by any stretch, they really, really struggle. Like, we haven't seen a lot of depth from them here, and they're just going to go for what looks like, again, some execution nades, throwing out a lot of utility early on. The counters have been expended by Gambit, but of course, being this more of a force buy round coming out from Spirit, they're actually the ones with less utility.
Yeah, it does seem to me that they rely too heavily on individual prowess when it comes to the Train T side. A map that can be very strategically viable, one where tactics really are part and parcel of the experience on T half. They're just peeking out one by one, and they're being comprehensively shut down. They've done a bit of damage, but this is after a tactical timeout, keep in mind. And it didn't seem like there was that many change-ups. It's the same result. And even if you want to say that this is a pretty CT-sided map, it's not potentially a 9-1 CT-sided map. There's an awkward confrontation taking shape. Chopper will get the drop on Nafani, but you have to put it in the context of the overall picture. His team still trail by a player, and they still have a distinct lack of utility. Only one smoke between the three of them, and by and large, they have very little map control.
The time as well starts to become a variant. It's a map where, especially when it comes to this A site, you've got quite a margin to go to get towards the bomb train. Trades coming back, but trades aren't really enough at this point, and the rotation of the AWP of Shiro could be enough just to try and deny any chance of a plant. They need to get moving now. Inter's above as well, should be able to deny it, and look at the bomb dropped. 10 seconds. There's nothing for Chopper here in this round. Keeping the AK might be something, dying might be something else, and Shiro is there to put him down. He has died to one BS Deagle shot on the B site. Also, that's the only round they've lost.
I certainly don't think that's a coincidence, Tom. I think he has been the puppet master. Only 3 deaths for Hobbit, but he typically has been the B-side player, and haven't been that many hits on B-side overall. Maybe that needs to change, or maybe we're just going to have a straight-up rush towards the A-main side. Not the case. They decided to go up through bathroom instead. Nafani, with the Mag 7, could have gone for an upgraded rifle, decides against it, and Shiro takes the opportunity to get aggressive. He yields himself a kill, and potentially Gambit the 10th round. And HE behind the Molotov, great utility put down range. And Spirit now have to clump together and hope they can explode out with these upgraded pistols and get some more success.
Yeah, Gambit are very well prepared for this round, though. They expected there to be a pistol investment. Being prepared and winning it, though, could be a problem, and Magix has got his Tech 9 back in play. Already an opener, an after plant looking like it will ensue, and actually Axel takes a hell of a lot of damage. Tries to do some in return through the smoke, and he's not far away. Just managing to catch off one. Shiro, though, lightning fast, takes a tag in return, and there's the Mag 7, he's missed it! It's all gone wrong for Nafani, and now Magix looks to take this into his own hands. He's left it onto Chopper, time ticking, and Shiro low. There's an opportunity for him here. The bomb not planted in an amazing position, but enough for him to defend it. However, the remaining 2 players will get things done on the retake. 4 kills needed for Shiro in a round versus pistols. I've said it once, I'll say it again. They struggle in these anti-ecos.
They do struggle, but at the same time, you got to say, Nafani, mate, you've got to get that kill. Like, the fact that he misses that actually costs his team an extra couple of frags. or a couple of players, I should say, their economy, you know, you think for a 10-1, you'd just be balling out of control with everyone like towards $10,000. That's not really the case. I mean, it is pretty solid, don't get me wrong here. But if Spirit can go onto a bit of a streak, maybe they can end this 10-5. And I really do think, Tom, like 10-5 would, not only for the context of this game, be a pretty good result, actually. But I think 5 rounds on T side, not too shabby at the best of times. But will they get that? Hobbit says no! 2 shots, both headshots onto Sundial and Chopper, Nafari onto Mia, and I'm just getting a sense of deja vu. Every round seems to be merging into one, and it's just all success for Gambit.
Nice shot from I Disbalance. Problem is the positioning. The CT side has been almost flawless. I think Inters has caught a player from almost every single time he's gone on top of the back bomb train. And I Disbalance might even just want to try and save the up. Of course, they do have maximum loss bonus, and when you are looking at a 10-1 scoreline, I don't really blame him for attempting to go for this. I think the thing that's infuriating me the most, though, is that it seems like Mir, at least on the T side, is very, very one-dimensional. And for such a talented player, the fact that we have now seen him basically just go for a fight versus Axile in like 6 or 7 rounds, and he has 3 kills. Like, maybe there needs to be a change there. I also am quite frustrated by the fact that we've only seen them go B in rounds with pistols, and one of them worked. Like, why have we not seen any real proper executions attempted there? Like, Hobbit hasn't actually been pressured that often. When he has, granted, he has thrived, but I still think that you need to just throw something in there every once in a while with the rifles. Now, I Disbalance, he's desperately trying to hold on to this orb. I think the loss bonus will give them enough anyway, but Nafani pre-fires the angle, clears out what is the remaining player, and even saves that extra orb at the end as well.
Huge moment here in the round with Hobbit getting 2. Did lose Shiro for only the 2nd time, but not that he'll really care about that, because it's all about the team. And the team is doing wonderful. Spirit, meanwhile, have themselves an assortment of weaponry, but we've been here so many times in the past, and they've been somewhat toothless when it comes to devouring any of these opportunities. A lot of damage early doors as well. I Disbalance and Sundial Young tagged to the grenades. Smoke put in. Looking for a boost up on the box angle, but Inter's putting some bullets in the smoke will make them think twice of that. And I'm kind of scratching my head here, Tom, to think, like, what could Spirit do differently to a point where they could start getting success? Because, again, they're not necessarily like the most tactical team in the world when it comes to train. And the fact that they're not getting these entries just feels like they are so out of their element right now. Nice shot from Shiro, though, onto Ivy.
Another dry peak, though. It really is, like, since that's been pointed out by the desk, I can't unsee it. Like, they're just walking in, hoping to find angles. I've got a stat of my own for you, Vince. Mir's opening duels. I mentioned that it didn't seem like it had been going too well, right? 0 and 6.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly, from what we've been seeing.
20 and 2. They're getting absolutely slammed by Shiro, and he's not the only one. Pretty much every single player is either even on KD or positive by a massive margin, and Shiro's just absolutely styling on them. We have seen nothing from Team Spirit. The favorites in this tournament, on their map choice, currently being absolutely battered by their opposition. And, well, we noted that Illuminar managed to find severe holes in their defense the last time around. It has been the case, though, that they've been very, very good from coming back from pretty horrific situations. And once again, it's Magic's. I think he's had more kills with a Tech 9 in this game than he's had with any other weapon, which is not something I really want to say in Counter-Strike. I still get flashbacks to Olaf Meister every time I talk about this gun. But somehow, again, in an anti-eco round where they've just forced in with a few pistols, they have a man advantage.
I wonder if that's the case of when they go to these pistols, they just play a lot more aggressively, and they kind of throw in the flashbangs and try and take quick sort of positions. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned there for Spirit. Hobbit, though, with the M4, even while Flash just had to hold down the trigger, knew that they were pushing him down on ramp. Another dig, though, from Sundial Young. will afford them a bomb plant. Uncharacteristic from Shiro, the kind of shots he's been landing time and time again over the duration of the half. He misses. That would have been a 2-on-2 and a very good chance at a retake. As it stands, though, Inter's the arduous task of just saving. It's not one that he'd have liked to have picked up, but it's the one that's ahead of him, and he has to do his duty for his team. AK will be kept alive. They obviously can get a very good buy behind this, as you'd expect from a 12-1 scoreline before Spirit do double up. But I don't know, Tom, if they can pick up 3, do you have any belief in this Spirit CT side? I suppose it has been pretty sporadic with results that we've seen.
The only thing that makes me think they might be all right is just that obviously they spotted as well as we did the way they had control over Ivy was not good enough in the early stages of their game versus Illuminat, and that was why they were losing an awful lot of rounds just because of space that never should have been gathered up. And as Some Young mentioned it, that was something they're obviously going to fix. Now, I do think that the reason they won their T side was because their players are playing very well, and so far in this map, that's not been the case. Like Mir, this is one of the worst performances I think he's ever had, and it's because he's just been doing the same thing pretty much every single round. Oh look, he's there again. He's waiting in A main, and he's lost the duel again. Stop doing the same thing, Mir. Come on.
This is the other side of the spectrum, right? He does the same thing so often and does too and always gets success. He's like, I will do it. Eventually, it will work out. Yeah, mate, we can't play 100 rounds of Counter-Strike, though, can we? The game's going to be done by then. Shiro, though, does overextend, gets maybe a bit too antsy. Maybe hubris plays a part in it. Understandable if he's a bit too confident at this point. He has been playing really a stellar half of Counter-Strike. A lot of his kills, though, have been off the back of being static, and for the aforementioned issues we spoke about, without flashes, preceding pushes, without proper utility usage, it will be hard, or harder, I should say, on the T side, when you actually have to take the initiative, when you actually have to push him with the AWP. We know he can do it, but he may not have the same levels of success, and maybe that's a way back in for Spirit, but they need to take this round down. They find themselves a player behind. Idis Balance for the second time, gets himself a kill. You saw Hobbit briefly there, looking a bit disappointed, knowing that his life being deemed forfeit opens up business onto the site. They do have a flank coming in. It's on Nafani on 5 HP. Not that Sundai Young is faring any better. He's down at 4. Idis Balance has been integral in this round, and you feel like he will be called upon again. His teammates fallen down around him. He knows the importance of this round. In a bit of an off angle, not ideal for the AWP, and he gets punished. Gambit will pick up a 13th.
Yeah, they've managed to have an impeccable half, almost using the best player of the last map as a free entry kill throughout. It's going to take them a bit of time to get the defusal, but now it's up to Spirit to take those few minutes of this break to try and come up with a game plan.
It feels so good when I'm around you. Never felt
We wanted an answer from Gambit, and my goodness, did we get one. Shiro behind the wheel, and they straight up demolished Spirit. 13-2. And I'm still a little bit at loss for words, Tom, because there's so many stats that paint a very bleak picture. Mia being rock bottom of the scoreboard, but I know you also said in the break about his opening picks being awful too.
Yeah, 0-7. So he's had a nightmare, an absolute nightmare of a match. And now going into the CT side, he plays a pretty integral role. But a decent-ish start. It's not going to be the cleanest of kills, but they're coming up nonetheless. Nafani, though, that was 2 with a couple of bullets. Brings things back into the favor of Gambit and leaves 2 players both around the connector position, and they've got to be wary. Hobbit is lurking, waiting up close. Trying to push forward, in fact. He's going to go a little bit further. I don't know if they'll expect him to go this far. Sun Young feeling like he's safe and it's a freebie, leaving just Magic's alive. He's had pretty much all of his moments so far with the pistols, but this might be a bridge too far.
Oh, yeah. A bridge too far and it's collapsing all around him. It's made of centuries-old wood. Has got the first headshot. Oh, and the second as well. Well, I did speak too soon in terms of frags, but not in terms of the overall picture in the round. He didn't have time. Nafani goes down with a shit, but a smile on his face because he knows his team now are so close to tying this series up at 1-1. And it would mean that the teams trade maps. Both teams have actually lost their choice of map pretty emphatically. I think you'd have to say over the course of the best of 3, Tom, Gambit have had a better account of themselves. They at least got a little bit closer on Dust 2.
Yeah, I would still say that both maps were dominant, but not this dominant. Like this doesn't look like Team Spirit even had a race or a horse in the race, I guess you would say. They've been poor. Nice shot from Mir though. He's now 1-7, so that's a little bit better. They're starting to bring back those opening kill stats at least a little bit. But they're going to go swinging things over. Chopper's found another one with the D. Maybe they could get themselves a slight lifeline, but Axel looking to fight things back. Lots of damage being done, and he just wrecks him straight through the spalls, leaving 2 players remaining. Mid trying to fight at range. Mac 10 not going to work, and tries to do it with the Deagle. It's left again onto Magix, and although he gets himself into an okay position, it's not going to be enough. 15-2. Looking like we're about to blast our way through this best of 5 series. As this one, I think it's done. I don't see a way that they get back into this one. In fact, we're even seeing on Gambit's side of things, the weapons that were expended are just going to be invested into with AKs, and what is the force buy coming out from Team Spirit? Well, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I love it from Gambit. Be ruthless. Just put this to bed right now. You know, best of 5s, it's a marathon. And we said coming into it that it could go the distance. I think I said in the intro, I could easily see this going a full 5 maps. Now, I will be honest, after that Dust 2 performance, I was thinking, all right, this might be over in 3. But Gambit, they've made a believer out of me again. And if anything, the way they've been playing in train, hell, I wouldn't write it off a 3-1 to them coming forward.
Who knows? Who knows? Luckily, we're in for the long haul. Mir spent a lot of time dead on the floor in this exact position of the map. They're actually going to go through again. He's going to get himself the opener. Unfortunately, so much damage has gotten back in return. Magic's lucky to be alive on just 1 HP. And Hobbit, this is what he does. Just lurking on the other side of the map. You can see the rest of his teammates are just waiting. They're like, okay, we can just be patient now. Hobbit's got this one for us. He's going to sneak all the way through to the connector, clearing out the side. He hears I disbalance, and well, I'm sure there's a confused look on his face, even coming back into the A side. So you know what? I've had B. I want A as well. Chopper, 1v4 Vince to keep them in this map.
And he will fall at the first hurdle. And isn't it fitting that it's Shiro that puts the final bullet to the final head? As one-sided, as brutal, as convincing as you could have asked for. What a turnaround performance from Gambit. Shiro in particular was stellar. And that is going to send a shockwave down the collective spines of Spirit. Make no mistake, that is a declaration from Gambit. That's a declaration of war. They are here for the long haul.
Yeah, That must be one of the worst maps I think we've ever seen from Team Spirit, and Mir individually. So we definitely have a best of 5 on our hands. And all I'm going to say here is good luck to the analysts, because other than maybe a Shiro highlight reel, I'm not sure what they've got to say going into this analyst segment.
Before the break, Gambit took a pillow to the Spirit defense and won fight after fight, squashing them like Vu in a fight with a spider. The main Spirit crusher, Shiro. Shiro. Blair, just tell me how that defense was so ridiculously successful from Gambit against Spirit.
Yeah, like you said, a pillow to the face. Some people enjoy that, some people don't. I can guarantee you, Spirit did not enjoy that. That was just complete, absolute domination, asphyxiation, and that T-con area, T-mains, whatever you want to call it, it was just getting completely shut down by the players from Gambit. Very aggressive stance, so to speak, on the CD side. And Ivy that forced the side of these guys, of their opponents, that is Spirit, to come in towards Ivy, where they walked into like 2 CDs re-aggressing. I love how they played that, re-aggression, early aggression as well. And of course, as you mentioned, Shiro, 114 ADR, 24 and 5. That's disgusting.
It is disgusting, but what's also kind of terrifying is Mer's stats, because if you look there, 5 kills, 17 deaths. He was 0 for 7 in opening duels on the T side, which is where he should be most effective, right? And then he won 2 duels in the second half. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, they kind of hit him near the bottom of the scoreboard there. Usually you see Mir, especially on Dust 2, he was doing very well. But you see Spirit, this is the concerns we were having. We talked about before this one started that their train didn't look all that good. They don't have the greatest, flash stats. And it felt like they didn't really have an execute. They were just tossing a smoke E-box, tossing a smoke sandwich every round, and almost playing it more like a 2017 style where you kind of give up T-Con, you leave Mir on an island in T-Con, that's where he stays. You take Ivy control, and then you kind of go into something after. But if Mir is 0-7 in opening duels in T-Con, where are you going after you take Ivy? You're going nowhere, and Shiro's just going to pick you off.
Well, less about the bad stuff, more about the sexy shots from Shiro. Blair, we've got, just goodness here.
He was just taking easy deals. A few anti-eco, some eco Cobra kills coming in, but look at the sheer confidence he was gaining in this game, right? Just like in the face, fast scoping people, reading them right. And you'll notice one thing. They're all walking into his crosshairs. His timing is perfect as well. The lucky utility being very evident. I think Spirit got 2 flash assists in the entire 15 rounds on the T side. So that's very telling. And that's what allowed Shiro to really pop off.
Like if Dennis can drop 30 on you, Shiro can easily drop 20 plus over 18 rounds.
And we didn't.
Dennis is bad.
We didn't even get to see.
He's no Shiro.
We didn't even get to see if Spirit had fixed their holes in the CT side, because we just didn't get that far. But will we get further than 4 maps? We know now it's 1-1 apiece. We're definitely going to see at least 4 maps tonight, and the next one is going to be Overpass.